Grace and peace multiply to you and yours in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High God, the Savior to those that keep His commandments. Hope everybody had a great day today. As you see, I have my coffee, like I showed you this morning. This keeps it hot and cold for over several hours. Now, just one more thing about this Starbucks thing, and I'm gonna be done with it. I'm gonna move on to something else because like I said earlier this morning, it doesn't stop with Starbucks. There's many organizations out there, billion and trillion dollar companies that does the same thing, and and Starbucks affected me personally because I remember back in my college days, I stopped off at a Starbucks after I got off work to do some school work, and took my laptop in there, and the same thing happened to me. I could not use the bathroom unless I bought something. I didn't say nothing at the time, but I thought about it later. I'm like, that was wrong because I've seen several times many others up in there of a different nationality, and they didn't buy nothing, and they did all kind of stuff up in there. But that's another story. So I'm gonna point something out to you because it's important. And man, I'm gonna get right to it. I posted a link concerning the Starbucks symbol, and this is why it's so important to have somebody in agreement with you on the scriptures of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because I was walking through a Walmart one day with my wife, and I pointed to the Starbucks. She said, that's a pagan symbol. I ain't gonna say the name just yet. But I was like, what? So I did a little research. I'm like, that sure is. I was wondering why did it had this new symbol all of a sudden. Because they didn't have it back in the days when I was, when I was going there. But I ain't saying boycott Starbucks. If that's what you want to do it. But I'm telling you, for me, it's not a good thing. And I'm gonna show you in the scripture why it's not a good thing. But before, I only got 4 scriptures, so I ain't gonna be long-winded. So I got a little history, but I'm gonna read you what this link said. When you Google Starbucks symbol, I'm gonna go to number 2. It says 10 things about Starbucks you don't know. So I'm gonna go to number 2. It says about that logo. That's right, the Starbucks symbol. It says at close inspection, the Starbucks logo makes no sense. At closer inspection, it makes even less sense. Plus, you risk dipping your nose in frat foam. There's some lady with long hair wearing a crown and holding what appears to be 2 giant salmon. Okay, and then they go on further on to say that it could be Esther out of the Bible, Queen Esther, which replaced Queen Vashti. But Esther was an Israelite. She wasn't a Gentile. Okay, first and foremost. Second of all, Esther didn't have anything to do with being out there on the waters. And I'm going to show you that. Now, first history book, last 2 million years. Page 216. Last 2 million years, page 216. And it says, pagan rites absorbed. It says, by a stroke of tactical genius, the church, the Roman Catholic Church, while intolerant of pagan beliefs, was able to harness the powerful emotions generated by pagan worship. Often churches were cited where temples had stood before, and many heathen festivals were added to the Christian calendar. Easter, for instance, first thing on the list. Easter, for instance, a time of sacrifice and rebirth in the Christian era, takes its name from the Norse goddess Eoster, in whose honor rites were held every spring. She in turn was simply a northern version of the Phoenician earth mother Astarte, goddess of fertility. Well, when you Google let me see. When you Google this thing about the the Starbucks logo or symbol. It says, since Starbucks was named after a nautical character, the original Starbucks logo was designed to reflect the seductive imagery of the sea. An early creative partner dug through old marine archives until he found an image of a siren from a 16th century Nordic woodcut. What is Nordic? That points to Scandinavia or Norse. Just read to you out of the last too many years. Norse goddess Eostre. And it's almost spelled like Easter too. E-O-S-T-R-E. Let me show you about Eostre, which is another name. Says pagan rites absorbed. It's all about paganism. Another history book. Revell Concise Bible Dictionary. Page 60. And this is talking about, yeah, page 60. It says Asherah. It says Canaanite goddess of fertility. Whoa, didn't I read that in the history book last too many years? A fertility goddess? It says Canaanite goddess of fertility, and originally the consort of El, but in biblical times of Baal, known also in scripture as Ashtoreth, and by the plural form Ashtaroth. Asherah is linked with other fertility goddesses of the ancient Near East, such as Sumerian Inanna, the Mesopotamian Ishtar, the Babylonian Ashraton, Phoenician Asherit, and the Greek Astarte. Starbucks. Wow. Okay. Another history book. Bear with me, I'm almost done. This is a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, page 58. No, page 59, sorry. And I'm going to read Ashtoreth and Ashtoreth. It says Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth is plural of Ashtoreth, name of any of the fertility goddesses of the ancient Near East. Babylonian Ishtar, Greek Astarte, in Canaan, a consort of El Baal. Now I'm going to read Ashtoreth, a goddess of the Canaanites, worshipped all along the southward through Phoenicia and Philistia. The plural Ashtaroth is found commonly and refers to the idols representing her. Her male consort was apparently Baal, and the two were worshipped with lewd rites. Which brings me to the last too many years, last history book. Last too many years again, but this is page 84. Talking about the same one. It says, the Phoenicians, important though their achievements were as migrant traders and colonizers seem to have developed little conception of nationhood. But the Hebrews, or Jews, relatively small in numbers though they were, saw themselves from the start as a distinct people because of their belief in Yahweh, or Jehovah, the only God. They despised the paganism, they despised the paganism and superstition of their neighbors along the Mediterranean coastal strip. The pagans' custom of sacrificing children to their gods was also abhorred by the Jews. They sacrificed their children to these pagan gods. The Jews were particularly scornful of the Syrian religion, centered as it was around a fertility goddess, there she go again, whose worship demanded sacred temple prostitutes. What? Prostitutes? That's supposed to be holy? This is Easter, Easter, Ashtaroth, Astarte. Sacred temple prostitutes and orgiastic rites. Devotees of Astarte were stimulated into wild sexual abandonment by music, wine, and incense. So, anybody decide, that's paganism is all around us everywhere. And we have to be careful. So let's go to the Bible, 4 scriptures, and I'm done. New Testament, starting off, and I'm going to end in the New Testament. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, beginning with verse 1. It says, now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth. And if any man think that he knoweth anything, he knoweth nothing yet as he ought to know. But if any man love God, the same is known of him. Verse 4, as concerning thereof the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other God but one. Whoa, ain't that the first commandment? It says, thou shalt serve no other gods but him. That was verse 4? Okay, that was verse 4. Turn to Jeremiah 35, Old Testament. Just one verse here. Jeremiah 35, verse 15. Says, I have sent also unto you all my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and go not after other gods to serve them. And ye shall dwell in the land which I have given to you and to your fathers, but ye have not inclined your ear, nor hearkened unto me. It's the Lord talking by the mouth of Jeremiah. Now, go way back to Judges. Judges chapter 2. Judges chapter 2, beginning with verse 10. Judges 2, beginning with verse 10. 10 through 14. Says, and also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers. That means they died. And there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Lord. What? Still going on right now. Nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim. That's a pagan god. Verse 12, and they forsook the Lord, their God of their fathers, which brought them out of the lands of Egypt, and followed other gods. Of the gods of the people that were round about them. Just read that. Where am I? And bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Lord to anger. Verse 13, and they forsook the Lord, and served Baal and Ashtoreth. Whoa. Same pagan god and goddesses. Now, turn to the New Testament, Acts chapter 12, because I want to show you something. This is why we cannot cherry pick the Bible. Have to read it line upon line, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. Now, have some understanding. Acts chapter 12, beginning with verse 1. Now about that time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church. Now Herod was an Edomite, but he was friends with the Romans, right? The Romans are Gentiles, right? Verse 2, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. So he wanted to kill Peter too. Then were the days of unleavened bread. So we know that Passover is the 14th day of the first month, and then the very next day, which is the 15th day of the first month, is unleavened bread. So it said, and unleavened bread lasts for 7 days. So it said, these were the days of unleavened bread. Verse 4, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison, and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him. So he kept him during the days of unleavened bread. Now watch this. Intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. He wanted to kill him on Easter, which the Bible shows clear that the Easter was what the Romans, the pagan Romans, celebrated, not the people of God, because God has feast days, hence unleavened bread, Passover, Pentecost, blowing of the trumpets, etc., etc. Not all these pagan days that you see every other month. So, anybody that that's why I mentioned before, you can't, if somebody having cooking a Christmas dinner or something for these pagan celebrations, you can't eat it, because you will be eating things sacrificed unto idols. The Lord don't like it. Bottom line, that's your choice, but you're going to be judged on that judgment. Grace and peace multiply.